Hey, good morning, my good friends. Welcome to the Stokastic.com MLB Strategy Show. Monday, coming off the weekend, 4th of July weekend. I hope you guys did you have a good weekend? I had a great weekend. Got a lot of sun. Playing baseball with my nephew. He was crushing him off the tee and I was fielding him. My back is ripped up from that. But dude, I would have done that all day long if I could have. Had a few drinks, ate some good food, hung out with friends and family. You can't beat that, right? Hopefully, again, you guys had a nice one. We're back, though. It's over for now. And then the next one, we got Labor Day weekend in a couple of months. Truthfully, the big holiday coming up, I'm going to tell you right now, is September, not the 11th. Don't go there. September 7th. You know why? Because that is the first Sunday of NFL regular season football. That's what matters, right? That's what we care about. Yesterday, I was looking up just football stuff. It was at night. I'm laying in bed. It's like 8:30. Got into bed early yesterday. Then I had to do a radio spot at like 9:30. So then, whatever. But I was like, how many days is it until the start of the season? Turned out that it was exactly 60 days till the start of the NFL season. So like 60 days from last night, we would have been sitting there watching the Eagles and Cowboys on Thursday Night Football to kick off the year. I hate that matchup as an Eagles fan because if we end up losing that game, it's going to be a shitty way to kick things off. But nevertheless, we are close, man. Like we are 2 months away from the start of the NFL season. We're right there. We are right there. But hey, happy to have you guys here. Jameson, Jake, Andy, Fact, Michael, Cujo, what's good, boys? Glad you could join. Hopefully you had a great weekend as well. And of course, if you don't mind, take a single second, atone for your sins this fine morning, coming off the holiday weekend, hit that thumbs up, bow down before the YouTube overlords. You know how it works around here. It takes a single second out of your time, brings you good luck, and it makes you a better person. Subscribe to the channel. Both of those are free to do. And if you're watching and listening after the fact, leave a comment down below. I try and read it, respond, and at the very least read to them. I see you guys in there always saying, hey, this one's for the algorithm. I appreciate that. I notice it for sure. Eric, I did have a great weekend. Thanks, man. My kids are getting to that age now. Like my one daughter's 4 or something. And then my other daughter's like a little over a year and a half. And then my one nephew's 6, my niece is 7. So like they can play now to a point where we can kind of hang out. Like we still have to be there and everything and pay attention. But before, like last summer, and summer before, it's like you're constantly have to make sure you know what's going on at all times. You can't really relax. Anytime you were to go on a vacation, you guys, any of you who have young kids or have at one point had young kids, you know that when you go to get-togethers or when you go on a vacation, you're very simply just parenting away from home. And there's times where I'd rather just be at home, where I don't have to worry about any of this. But yeah. Devin Scott says, the Cowboys will just find a way to ruin your night too, Laffy. Devin, here's the thing, man. I bet the Cowboys, not to win, but I grabbed them. I took the points +7. I feel like, a game like this, Eagles, and I know everyone's like, yeah, but they're like defending Super Bowl champions and the home openers have been fantastic. It's like that shit doesn't last forever. And I'm pretty sure the last couple have either lost or it's been a super close game. So to me, divisional spot Thursday Night Football, I think the game's going to be close. In an ideal world, the Eagles win by 6. And I get to go to bed happy. Otherwise, it would suck. One way or another, though, like at least if the Cowboys win, that bet wins. If the Eagles cover, my bet lost, but the Eagles won. I'm not hedging against emotional instability, but ideally, Eagles winning by less than 7 would be great. But yeah, let's get into it. Weedmonger, bring on football. Yeah, baby. Let's go. S&P, with how small the contest sizing has been for MLB, makes me doubly excited for football. S&P, honestly, are the contests that small? I don't know, dude. DraftKings tonight, 100K up top for the immaculate inning, 500K prize pool. The rally cap is $8 entry, 225K prize pool, 50K up top. The ball four, 20K up top. Dude, I don't think it's been as that. Obviously, if you're comparing it to football, yeah, like the mini max for football is like 100K, right? So that's understandable. The play action is what, 750 or a milli every time? I get it. The single entry contests are 100K up top for the spy. You know, the power sweep, you've got like three max power sweep with 100K, 150K up top sometimes. You know. So that, of course. But at the same time, I don't think the MLB prize pools have been that bad. What sucks about the MLB prize pools, in my opinion, is that, like, I think you could take some of these prize pools away for some of these like really shitty single entries and just add them to the mini max or something, you know, and be able to do like a 5K up top for the mini max each day. That'd be pretty sweet. Or like, what's the 20 max $4? Is it the four seamer? What is that? You know what I'm talking about, right? The $4 20 max, whatever that is. Like, that'd be cool to have the 5K up top every day. Because really a lot of these are just catered to like if you're maxing the premier type contests. I feel like that would make MLB better every day. Yeah, the four seamers 2K up top. The mini max. Today's not bad though. Like, if you're someone that plays in that 50-cent mini max, 20K prize pool, that's not bad. Which means it's probably what, 25K? What's the other mini max? Do they not even have a dollar mini max today? Probably because they have that $8 rally cap. They always do that. But either way, could be worse. 12, yeah, 10,000. Yeah, that's silly. But S&P tonight's much better, but in the last week and a half or so, everything's been pretty small. My complaint more so lies in how small the four seamer. Yeah, exactly. Four seamer, those, they could make those way bigger and way more enjoyable. Like, look at the for showdowns in NFL, how big those contests are. Right? Like, in showdown, you got some nights where it's $1 million up top. It's just nuts. Jake, you know what I don't understand? Because he said don't understand why there isn't a $3 20 max every slate. Yeah, I mean, it is the four. The four seamer is the same thing as the $4 that they do for the NBA, right? What's that called? What's the $4 NBA 20 max called? But what I really wish is that they had just like a ideally wipe everything else out. Yeah, the moon. That's what I was going to say. Wipe everything else out and just give us a 150 max $3 4-point play, right, Justin? Wipe everything else out. Give us all the main contests and a 150 max $3. That would be sick every day because you could run the prize pool up pretty nice on that. You know, you could have like a 60, 70K prize pool, eliminate some of that other stuff, and we'd be in business. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about some baseball. Happy you guys could join. Again, if you don't mind, tap that thumbs up. Goes a long way, and I appreciate you for it. Also, hopefully all of you guys, if you wanted to, were able to get in on our 4th of July sale, the USA code, 50% off every single monthly or weekly subscription we have. And hopefully you're enjoying the tools. If you have questions, you can always hit me up or join the Discord as well. So a lot of ways for that. Fact, dare we ask Lafi and Rasa for best ball content? Hit Ben up and tell him to start doing best ball. The first best ball contest he ever did, actually, where he was dick deep in NFL postseason best ball contest, and he had some good teams, but he's never done regular season best ball before, and I'm begging him to do it. It's so fun. So fun. Yeah. But anyway, let's go and get into it. One last thing here. I think you guys would agree. The moment NFL salaries come out, we have to do a first look show, right? I feel like we have to. Like the day of or the next day, we have to do an NFL first look strategy show. Whether it's relevant or not, I don't care. We got to scratch that itch. Eric, perfect segue into this slate. Let's do it, boys and ladies, for those 0.5% of you tuning in today. Appreciate it. Eric, I'm so confused on the Dick Fitz ownership. Pitchers versus Rockies, Laffy. Yeah, maybe the ownership comes up a little bit. It's definitely possible. I think there are a few things. Hey, Clintwood. I think there are a few things that are contributing to low ownership there. Remember the other day, last week, at one point when we talked about like how Richard Fitz actually made a little bit of sense rostering him. It was actually that game that got suspended, and he wasn't even pitching poorly at all. I think he had like 36 pitches through 4 innings, only 1 or 2 strikeouts, but he was, looking like he could pitch pretty deep into that game. The problem is that DraftKings routinely underprices pitchers, and there's a select few that they do this with. One of the guys that they do it with, it's just unending, is Yusei Kikuchi. I don't understand the price point on Yusei Kikuchi. You look at him here. He's $7,200 today. He's been underpriced a lot all season long. I don't know if you guys have looked at this, and I think some of it is just sheer variance, because it's not a large sample from like home to road, but he's been purely dominant at home, 26% K rate there. Aside from that, you're talking about a guy who has been phenomenal recently, and now he's going up against the Texas Rangers team that is abysmal against lefties. They're 29th in WRC+, 28th in WOBA, bottom 10 in ISO, 8th highest K rate in the league. Yeah, this park is pretty decent for hitting, but Kikuchi's been awesome there. $7,200 simply doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And check this out, right? This is why I love the top pitchers tool, because it gives you a lot of insight outside of just like what the team total is or what their top 2 pitcher probability is. When you use all of this, when you have all of this context and you use all of this with each other, right? It goes a long way. So check this out. Top 2 pitcher probability today: Jacob deGrom and Yamamoto, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, both of whom are 10-3 or higher. No surprise there. Third highest, essentially the second, let's just say he's tied with Yamamoto, is Kikuchi. Yet somehow Kikuchi is the 10th highest priced pitcher on the slate, on a 9-game slate, right? So you have 9 other pitchers who are more expensive than Kikuchi today, and 8 who are less expensive, yet he has the second highest top 2 pitcher probability on the slate. And again, fantastic at home, excellent matchup against the Rangers. Explain to me what I'm missing here. It's a really good spot, and I intend on getting a lot of him today. I mentioned this in the perfect lineup video that Josh and I do. That'll be up in about an hour. Make sure to check it out, especially for those of you guys who are on a time crunch. It's like 7 minutes, 7-8 minute video. I think it'll lay a really good foundation for you, even if you watch this strategy show. Plus, you're getting access to a lot of insight that we have in the tools and the single lineup sim where Josh will build one out at the end. But Kikuchi should be in a lot of lineups today. Now, a couple of other points here. I won't necessarily say points of contention from you guys, but interesting ones no less. Eric said, I thought Jose Barrios and Fitz would be chalk looking at this last night. So, yeah, I could understand where you'd see the Jose Barrios play possibly being chalk, but you have to ask yourself again, does it make the same amount of sense for a guy that has, what does Jose Barrios have, like a 20% K rate? I haven't looked in a little while, but I assume it's around 20% on the season. 21% on the year. How does he stack up against Christopher Sanchez, who's going up against the team in San Francisco with the lowest implied total on the slate? 3.5. Sanchez with a 26% K rate on the season. 18.5 outs prop on some books today. 5.5 K prop today. San Francisco, 7th highest K prop against lefties. One of the lesser talented teams against left-handers. 91 WRC plus is ranked in the basement. Right? So how does he stack up against him? He's 8,500. Sanchez is 88. Kikuchi's $7,200. Better strikeout stuff. As good, maybe a better, honestly, might be a better matchup because Texas strikes out at the 8th highest clip against lefties. Meanwhile, the White Sox K rate against righties actually isn't that high. I think it's like 19 or 20%. It is 20.8%. They're obviously not a good baseball team. They're bottom 3 in WRC plus. They have a sub 300 weighted on base average, which is 29th. It's a good matchup for Barrios, for sure. But I can understand why he's not pulling a ton. Now, if you wanted to get there as a pivot, makes a lot of sense. If you look on the far right side of the screen there, he has one of the best leverage scores, right? Jose Barrios' leverage today is 3rd highest. But Zach Gallen's number 1, and I still like Kikuchi over him. Right? So all of these guys, it's all within context of the slate itself. And then we haven't even really talked about, we haven't even scratched the surface with Jacob deGrom yet. What about deGrom here? You know, deGrom is an elite pitcher. Have any of you guys dug into his stats, though? Curious on your thoughts with this one. deGrom has, and I can't really make heads and tails of this. deGrom has a 19% K rate against righties this year. Seems very odd. Or I'm sorry, 21.8% K rate against righties this year, but 29% against lefties. It's kind of strange. He's been, don't get me wrong, great against righties. He's allowing no power to them, which is a surefire way to limit the Angels to 0 production. But, I mean, deGrom looks really good here. If I'm just scrolling the top 2 pitchers tool, the guys I like most right now, deGrom, Kikuchi, and Sanchez. Honestly, those feel like my top 3. Peralta against the Dodgers, 18% ownership at 9K. I was a little bit surprised by that ownership, if we're being honest. You know, he's a great pitcher, but have we seen the real ceiling with him this year? Like, all right, don't fault me for this. Just go with it for a second. Looking at DraftKings points per game, not per game, but like if you're looking at each of his games, he's had sub 25 in all but 2 starts this season. So I suppose at 9K, that's kind of priced into it. But I don't know, man. You've had 1 start. Isn't this amazing? 1 start where Freddie Peralta has thrown more than 6 innings. I just feel like each week we do this show every 5 days that if he's on the slate, doesn't it, to me, it just kind of feels like Jose Barrios is, or I'm sorry, that Freddie Peralta is just there. You know, he just exists. He isn't great. He isn't bad. He just exists. I don't know. To me, it's odd. Eric, I think you've got that backwards because the Angels are home today. Angels are home today. And Kikuchi's been markedly better at home than he's been on the road. Much, much better at home than he's been on the road. Clintwood, I'm the Freddie Peralta of DFS. Yeah, look, I think we all are from time to time, you know. Andy, I took DeGrom over 17 and a half outs today. No problem with that whatsoever. Playing DeGrom that gets 6 innings. No problem. But God, how do you not like Christopher Sanchez here? Oracle Park has a weird ability to like kind of limit strikeouts, but it also really limits home runs. It limits production. It limits hits. Christopher Sanchez is really good. This guy pitches deep into games. I think he's underpriced. I think Kikuchi's underpriced. Take a look at our exposures here as well. So with the first Sims run, I have not looked at exposures yet. Kikuchi, DeGrom, Peralta, Yamamoto, Sanchez. Wow. 18%. So we're getting with the field on Freddie Peralta, huh? A little bit surprised by that. Honestly, Kikuchi and DeGrom to me look like the two best, but I would have popped Sanchez a little higher there. I would have had Sanchez in my top 3. Tanner Bybee, Brady Singer, Jose Brios only 2%. We're really not getting to many of these other guys. Crazy. You know, it's funny because hold on a second. Let me pull this up. So it was, I forget what the comment was. It was 4th of July. I ended up having a bad day there in the early slate anyway, because I played Luzardo and he just, you know, was terrible. But it's really funny you would mention that, man. And where is it? Eric, do you know Pittsburgh hasn't scored a run since last Wednesday, July 2nd? So, all right, I assume they didn't play on Thursday, right? But they've now gone, let's be fair, 3 games without a run. I remember somebody made a comment when we were talking about that Pittsburgh team saying, when was that? It may have been, maybe they did play Thursday. I can't remember. Wednesday or Thursday, maybe Friday. It was like, hey, Pittsburgh is hot right now. Yeah, I don't know if I want to play pitchers against them. And the idea there, we talked about it. It's like those small little stretches, those small windows mean nothing. And I remember pulling it up on the screen. You guys remember this if you watched. It's like, well, Pittsburgh is still like bottom 3 in every relevant category against righties, right? Like everywhere. So if you wanted to take a 10-game sample of this Pittsburgh team and ignore the fact that for the large majority of the season, they've been terrible, and they are still terrible despite a really solid 2-week stretch, that should just make you look at it and be like, all right, well, they're not just going to keep playing good baseball. And now you see it, 3 straight games, they've done absolutely nothing. That is closer to the Pittsburgh team than we've had over that 2-game stretch, because you know Pittsburgh for the season. What do we have? We have like almost 3.5 months now of baseball. We have a pretty big sample. We have a pretty big sample. So yeah, I don't think it's crazy though. If you guys were talking about some of these other pitchers on the slate that we haven't talked about yet, Richard Fitz, our old friend Dick Fitz, I don't necessarily think the Dick does fit today. I would say last start on the 1st of July was more of an exception to the rule, and it was a product of just a terrible, terrible pitching slate. Heaney against Kansas City. Heaney can go out there and have some decent games from time to time. I don't hate Andrew Heaney. Kansas City is the type of team that is going to routinely put the ball in play, and that sucks because with Heaney, you know, a guy like this, you're absolutely relying on him to get the strikeouts. Kansas City, bottom 8 K rate against lefties. They also have an 82 WRC plus. Again, not a good baseball team. Yeah, everybody check out Emacs free spotlight pitchers and top stacks for the main and late slates today. Great article. It's free every day of the week. Bookmark that and check it out each day for sure. Austin, 15 and a half outs prop for Noah Cameron is very odd to me. Maybe I'm crazy. Probably one of the reasons we're not getting to a ton of him at 8,100 because his out props don't necessarily align all that well with his salary. He's thrown 83, 88, 84, and 80 pitches over his last 4. He did throw 102 back on the 10th of June. But, just another one of these guys where how does he fit within the context of the slate? S&P, to be clear, I don't think you need to try to make the dick fit today either. No, me neither. Matter of fact, S&P, some might call that a crime. But anyway, looking at some of these guys, it's like, yeah, you could play them, but who do you play them over? Do you want Noah Cameron over Sanchez? He's only getting 17%. Do you want him over Kikuchi? 25% on Kikuchi. We're getting massive leverage over the field there with 75% exposure. Eric says Berrios and Fitz are way too low owned. If you want to, you can make the argument, sure, with Berrios. I don't know if Fitz is too low owned. He's not good. And I've been more than willing to play bad pitcher. Well, let's say average pitchers against Colorado all year. You guys know that. We've even been willing to play plenty of pitchers who are average arms against the Rockies at Coors Field. I don't know if I want to do that today. I really don't have a lot of faith in this spot. He's not going, he has an 18% K rate, which you might argue is okay for this spot. But this is a guy that at the minor league level, right? The minor league level is like a 16% career K rate at double and triple A, or not career, but over the within this year. Like he threw, let's see, 30 innings at double and triple A this year, has a 17% strikeout rate. I don't know. Eric, plug and play versus the Rockies away from Coors. Yeah, I guess if you want. I'm not even gonna fight you on that. I just think there are better options than Dick Fitz. Like if I could pay 1,000 more for Kikuchi, I simply don't see why I wouldn't want to do that. I think Colton Gordon against Cleveland looks okay enough. You got the lefty going up against this Guardians team that has been very bad against left-handed pitching. Very bad. And no, I have no interest in going to Austin Gomber in that spot. No. He is 4,500 for a reason. For a reason. Again, there are some spots you just don't need to try and jam. We're getting some Tanner Bybee at 7K. A little Brady Singer there at 3%. But really, like most of our exposures going to Kikuchi and DeGrom. Do you guys really disagree with it all that much? If you wanted to say, sure, like, all right, well, I think you should still be getting to some Noah Cameron or Jose Barrios. And if for some of you, old Dick Fitz there. And hopefully for your sake, it's snug tonight. But that's tough. We're getting one lineup with Dick Fitz. No Landon Root, very little Noah Cameron, not a lot of Zach Gallen. The guy I'd like to get more of is Christopher Sanchez today. He's been really good, and don't you guys think that price point, like everyone wants to talk about guys being too low owned or guys being underpriced? Why isn't Sanchez 9,500 here? Like, dead serious. Can anyone give me a good, and I'm not like trying to trick you into this, I'm actually asking a sincere question. Can anyone give me a good reason, and this isn't to say that Sanchez is better than him today, but can anyone give me a good reason why Christopher Sanchez is cheaper than Freddie Peralta? With Freddie Peralta going up against the Dodgers, Sanchez has been a better DFS pitcher. He has a higher strikeout rate, a better matchup by far, and a better park today. Pitches deeper into games as well. So who can tell me, like, why would he have a higher price point than Sanchez? Austin, Sanchez is 10K on FanDuel. LOL. He should be. I don't care. Again, when I talk to you guys about this stuff, there are going to be times where I may have a blind spot and I come back and look at it and I go, fellas, I screwed that up. Fellas and Jenna, how about, that's fair, right? Jenna in chat. I screwed up. I should have seen that clear. It's going to happen. But results shouldn't matter if your process is right in the sense, and I'm talking like individually, right? Or over a small sample. Results shouldn't matter. Like Luzardo the other day, he went out there and got rocked. I'm still, if that matchup came up again, there's just no way I'm not going back to Luzardo at his price, knowing everything we knew about that, all of the props, looking at the team totals, looking at his K rate, all of that, right? There's just no way you're. Similarly with Sanchez here, understanding the matchup, the park, the implied total. Same with Kikuchi. Kikuchi's probably the best example. Like Kikuchi could go get blown up today. It's happened before, but at 7,200, he is objectively way cheaper than he should be. Kikuchi should be 8,500 today. He should be more expensive. Honestly, he should be as or not more expensive than Barrios. He should be more expensive than Gallen, than Noah Cameron. He should be. He should be. So yeah. There's that. Keith, they did face a gauntlet of Philly. That Philly rotation, man. If Nola comes back and is like decent, if he's good, how crazy is it to think that, like, all right, what's the Phillies rotation if Nola comes back and is good? You have Wheeler, who's coming off a complete game, 12 strikeout shutout, where he allowed one base runner over the minimum. You have Sanchez, and assume Luzardo gets back to form, which he was outside of last game. Could just be a blip. How would you guys rank this order if you had to do like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It's really hard. Wheeler's number one. I think Suarez, and I've been shouting this from the rooftops for a while now, I think Suarez is the 2. Suarez, to me, is an outstanding pitcher. Sanchez 3, Luzardo 4, Aaron Nola 5? There's Nola 5? I think he is. Nola's the back of the rotation. Platinum MMA show. Thank you, Stokastic. I took down the John Deere Classic with your help. Awesome, man. Congratulations. Congratulations. Let's take a look at some stacks in the meantime. Before we do, though, just to throw it out there, since we just had a little comment from our friend Platinum MMA show, some weekend winners, baby. Lithuma again. No cigar, but in happy to take second, tie, but not Duke. In the 888. It's amazing. Another one for him. An 8K third place, rocking the avatar, using the tools. Yeah. The Mini Max. Here we go. Another one. Another first place win in the Mini. I told you, our tools are so good for the Mini Max. That's first out of 47,000 people. Sean, look what happened Saturday afternoon. The Sims certainly helped this win. Best tools in the business. Took first place in the Beanball. Shared first in the $3. That's 8K. 7K right there for Sean, our Canadian friend. And then another Sean, wins are unpredictable. Thought for sure it would be MLB with Laffy, but Stokastic decided to go PGA instead. DFS is an arms race. I'd be broke without you guys. Thanks. So shout out to our winners over the weekend. Congrats to you guys. I love seeing this stuff. And of course, you guys want to get the tools. Even if you missed the sale that we had going, if you guys want to get the tools for free for a month, core sims for the entirety of the month, that link in the description, if you click more in the description, see where it says join any sportsbook, gets Stokastic sims free? Click that and follow these steps. Guys, I'm telling you, it is simple. It takes minutes and you will get the sims for free for the entirety of the month. All you do when you click that link and go to this page, click claim offer on any of these. If you're in non-legal betting states, we've got all the pick'em sites as well, right? So let's say Caesars, claim offer. If you're not on Caesars, here's a good one. Claim offer, make your minimum deposit. It's like $5 or $10, right? Place a bet after clicking claim offer. And then after you place that bet, all you have to do is take a screenshot of your welcome email and your first settled bet. Email us at support@stokastic.com and tell us what you want. So if you're like, hey, here it is. Here it is. Can I get a month of MLB Sims? Boom, you got it. How about this? If you signed up for Caesars, Fanatics, and BetMGM, all three of them, that would be, I think, 10, 5, and 10. That's $25 total. Follow these steps. Now you get 3 months of Sims. You could do it for PGA. You could do it for MLB. You could do it for NASCAR or MMA, or you could do 3 consecutive months of MLB and have it until the season ends heading into the NFL season. It is such a simple and super affordable way to get access to these tools by taking a few minutes out of your day. So use that link down there. No better way to do it than that. And if you ever have questions about it, hit me up. Happy to help. All right, let's take a look at our stack exposures. Let's go. All right, so where are we at? It's got to be Boston. Got to be Boston. Bing, bang, boom. There you go. Boston against Austin Gomber. They have it. And you know how I knew this? Look at the top stack probability on these teams today. So 16%, highest by far for Boston. But also, while they're getting owned, they have a 14% top value score. So they're still positively leveraged because they're getting less ownership than their top stack probability. They're number one in stack score. They look excellent. It's crazy too, because a lot of these teams that look good up top today are not that expensive. Cincinnati being an exception, 3% top value percentage, but like Boston, 14%. They're not that expensive against Colorado, 6.2 run implied total. Kansas City against Heaney, second highest top value score, sub 10% ownership. Cleveland, that is a tough one against Colton Gordon, 9%. But then look at this. Toronto against Sean Burke, 5.1 team total, 9% top value. So a lot of these teams in top value are also looking good in top stack probability. 3 of the 4 teams in top stack probability, Boston, Toronto, and Kansas City, are also top 4, 3 of the top 4 in top value. That's amazing. And they're all 3 of them are top 3 in stack score. So it just makes a lot of sense. Jenna, I always see Stokastic avatars near the top. Alex Baker should be so proud. He just wanted people to have success. I enjoyed listening to him when he was on shows. You know, Jenna, I'm going to see if I can bring him out of retirement for some NFL stuff, even once or twice this year. I always love doing shows with him as well. I mean, a true pioneer of DFS with the tools that he came up with that we still use today. You know? Went on one of the most epic runs you will ever see in your life. So shout out and pour one out to Alex. He's alive and well. But he got married. He had a child. He's living his best life, man. Go hit him up on Twitter one day. Tell him Laffy sent you. Say, hey, we miss you, man. We'd love to have you back for a cameo one day. Say, Laffy sent me from the strategy show. We miss you. Because we do. We still talk periodically, though. Mostly about like, hey, having kids is tough. But yeah, man, he's an awesome dude. And you're right. He was just like, he wanted people to do well and genuinely wanted to help people. He taught me a ton, taught all of us a lot. But yeah, a lot of Boston today. I'm honestly not going to try and mess with this I'm okay with it. If you look at lineup, we probably have like over 50% Boston stacks. We're going to have really concentrated lineups today. So if you want to change 59%, 18% Kansas City, 9% Toronto. If you wanted to change that, you can. You can set exposure caps here. Look, you can set stack exposure caps. Bring this down. Say maybe you only want 40% Boston. If you wanted to go into player exposures and say, you know what, I want to thin it out. Let's do this. I'll do this for you guys real quick. Let's say we wanted to go and see what our pitching exposures look like. If we just brought, let's say we bring Kikuchi and DeGrom down to 40% each. I'm not recommending you do this, but this is just to get an idea of what guys would get an, let's say a natural boost if you artificially cap Kikuchi and DeGrom without having to boost anybody else. So you would get more, let's see, you would get obviously Kikuchi and DeGrom at 40. You get a lot more Peralta and Yamamoto. Wow. You'd get 19% Sanchez, 13% Bybee, 9% Jose Barrios. When I do stuff like this, it actually tells me a lot. It tells me that no matter how much I try and boost or get to a guy like Dick Fitz or, you know, maybe a Colton Gordon or a Gallen or Cameron, that if you're limiting exposure and you're taking about 40% off Kikuchi, 30% off DeGrom, and still not getting those guys, you're going to be hard pressed to get them, even if you're trying to artificially boost them up. You're going to have to do a lot. And when I have to do a lot to get to somebody, I typically stay away from that. But if I go, hey, I can apply a 5 or 10% boost to a player, and that can get me and that ends up getting me a lot more. It tells me they're like right on that fringe of being in those, you know, positive sim ROI lineups that are going to jump into the 150. Yeah. Eric Lederman started with the Sims 5 weeks ago after a little learning curve. Just had my best 2 weeks, and if I didn't tinker, would have been better. Hell yeah, brother. Love it. And congrats. I love hearing that stuff. And sometimes, look, sometimes you're going to have rough stretches. It doesn't matter if you're using Sims or not. Like, you got the best players out there. A lot of them have their own Sims that they've been using for a while, which is why they were very unhappy with us when we released the Sims, particularly our CEO, Tom Kennedy, who handled it well. But, you know, knowing that the process is real and definitively works, and you see it atop the leaderboards and you see it with the screenshots, you know, you just got to stick with it. As they say in NA, don't leave before the miracle happens, right? But yeah, Eric said, don't tinker with the Sims. You can make small adjustments, but you don't want to go overboard. You don't want to be dumb. S&P, cheap pitching is going to look a lot less appealing on a slate where so many of the top stacks are cheaper than, say, Dodger stack or a stack in Coors or Sacramento. Exactly. Also, S&P, if you want to add, you know, more context to what you're saying, cheaper than the Dodgers, but even the Dodgers are going against Peralta, you know? So it's even that isn't going to appear as an all that appealing spot to begin with. And it's not just that cheaper pitching is going to look less appealing. It's that Kikuchi as a cheap pitcher looks so appealing. You know, Kikuchi looks so good. Einsteinium not paying up on offense at all. The funny thing is, that's not even really a crazy decision. You don't have to. You don't have to. Einsteinium, fastball Freddie can be had. Of course he can. The point is simply that the Dodgers aren't just going to look like a great stack, because S&P is referencing Coors. He's referencing that what is it, Sutter Health Field or whatever it is, Sutter Health Park in Sacramento, the A's temporary stadium. Those type of spots just aren't going to appear as good. That's all. Anyway, take a look at individual exposures before we get out of here. And remember, you guys want to try out the Sims, that link in the description. Just use it. 4 steps, super easy. Or if you want, as always, you can DM me at Laffy_D, LOUGHY_D. My handle's right there. Twitter, or even on Instagram if you want. Say, hey, I was watching the show. I heard you have a great discount code for me to get a week or month of The Sims. And I'll say, you would be in the right spot, fella. Here's the code. So however you want to do it. Individual exposures. Robert Snyder, Jaron Duran, no surprise there. Rafaela, wow, we got 3 Boston guys, basically 33, 34, 44%. Ohtani at 25%, Corbin Carroll at 12%. I'm not shocked, and I don't hate that at all. Bobby Witt against Heaney. Nice spot, righty versus lefty matchup. Heaney's he's been known to give up some power. Trevor Story, Boston. Nate Eaton, Abraham Toro, Boston. Also 21% Mikel Garcia too. Rami Gonzalez, Jonathan India, Matt McClain. So a lot of Boston and KC we're seeing here. Gonzalez, Ohtani, Toro. So a lot of multi-position eligibility guys that we've already talked about. Although Salvador Perez, and we'll see him when we go to catcher, 23% as well. So Narvaez and Perez clearly far and away getting about 56% combined of those guys. So that's where we're at. As always, guys, I hope this show was helpful. Hit that thumbs up before you get out of here. Goes a long way for me. I appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And hit me up on Twitter. Give me a follow. Whether it's baseball or you're just ready for some football talk and you want to start diving into this, prepping early, be it season long. I mean, for me, it's best ball. But also, just always being as prepared as possible for DFS can never hurt. I know it sounds wild. Like you don't want to like, oh man, I got to start now for week 1 of the DFS season. We have no idea what injuries are going to look like, how many guys get hurt, and how many 4K running backs are available because the starters got hurt in the second day of training camp. But I do think when you can go into a week 1 and really have an intimate understanding of these teams, it is no more helpful in week 1 and week 2 than it can be all year long. Because once you get a couple weeks into the season and you start to understand, like, oh, wow, look at these target shares. Look at this guy's route run. He was on the field for 95% of snaps, 98% routes per drop back, like all of that. This guy is the clear backfield dominating guy. We've seen that through 3 weeks. It's so much easier to distill everything down. But when you're going up and you actually have to make some difficult decisions and figure things out for yourself going into week 1, where the jury's still out on a lot of spots, but you can draw some sharp conclusions, I personally think there's a lot to be had there. A lot. No good homer plays on the board right now. I always try and throw them in there for you guys when I can. But anyway, have a great rest of the day, fellas. Live Before a Lot coming up tonight for a great 9-game slate. And I will see you back here for the next one. Bye-bye.